Hey everybody, it's Cheyenne and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about medical emergencies. Now I know that sounds really scary and it can be very, very scary, but I'm just going to be talking about more of the common ones that may happen within a dental office. There are a lot of really scary ones that can happen, like heart attacks and everything else, but those are not very common. And if you have experienced that, or hopefully we just never have to experience that, because that sounds very, very scary to me. Like giving CPR to somebody, even though I am CPR trained, it just sounds like a very scary situation to me. And I really hope I'm never put in that position to have to do that. And luckily I've only been in one situation that was pretty scary, and that was when a patient of mine swallowed a surgical burr. And I do have a story time on that if you want to listen to that. But this video is more going to be about, I'm gonna say, smaller medical emergencies and just how to deal with them. So let's get started. So the first thing is, when you see a patient, you always want to take their blood pressure. And you 100% want to do this before procedures, because when you give anesthetic, there's epinephrine in that, and that can raise their blood pressure. So if they come in and they already have a high blood pressure, and we bring that up with anesthetic, that could lead to a stroke or other things like that. So you want to make sure you're taking that blood pressure. Now, if you take a blood pressure and it is high, you want to let the dentist know, and he'll let you know if he still wants to do the procedure or not. In my experience, if that diagnostic number, that bottom number, is over 100, they usually do not do treatment, because that's just a very high blood pressure and you don't want to risk it by giving anesthetic. Now, if they want to risk it for, cleanings and things like that, they may, but usually they will not if you're giving anesthetic. But again, that's completely up to your dentist, so let him know or her know, and then they'll let you know. Another thing that is very common is a lot of people will come into appointments early in the morning or afternoon and they have not eaten. And when they have done this, after you give them anesthetic, they tend to get very, very shaky. Or their nerves act up on them and they get shaky, or they get low blood sugar. So your office hopefully should have something, if that does happen. A lot of offices will have like juice boxes or granola bars, or like little pieces of candy you can give the patient. So I ever noticed that a patient's shaky after anesthetic, or when I see them, I always ask them, have you eaten today? And if they tell me no, then I usually will get them a little snack. Now I do always ask, make sure they don't have like a peanut allergy or anything like that. I usually let them know what we do have, and then they will select one that they would like to have. And usually that gets rid of all the shakiness. And then I just remind them that they need to eat before their dental appointments. A lot of people don't know that if you don't eat before a dental appointment, that it also makes it very difficult for you to get numb. Because if you have nothing in your system, that anesthetic, your body will metabolize it a lot faster, and it needs something to burn to last, if that makes sense. So we're gonna be giving you a lot more injections, or you're gonna be more difficult to numb if you haven't eaten anything before an appointment. So you wanna make sure you're eating before an appointment as well. Another thing that happens a lot is, we have patients lean back for long periods of times during like extractions or root canals or whatever fillings, and when you sit them up, they tend to get a little lightheaded. Now if a patient's lightheaded, you do kind of want to ask if it's okay, but you want to lean them back a little bit. You can put like a cold compress on their forehead. Just let them relax there. Make sure you're talking with them so that they're not going to be passing out. Yeah, definitely lean them back and put a cold compress on their head. Talk to them. If they feel nauseous when you lean them up, you want to grab them a bag or a trash can or something they can throw up into if they need to. But if they're feeling lightheaded, you want to lean them back. If they're feeling nauseous, you want to sit them up, because you don't want them to throw up, lean back. You want them to be up if they need to throw up. So you never want to leave a patient alone if they're experiencing anything like this. You always want to grab another assistant that can hang out with them, or, ask another assistant to get these things for you. You never want to leave the patient alone. You also want to let your dentist know too if a patient is experiencing these things, because he's going to determine, if we should or shouldn't be doing treatment. Also, he needs to be in the room if a real medical emergency happens. He might want the patient to be on oxygen or things like that. So definitely make sure that he's aware of the situation, and never leave the patient alone. You never want to do that. Also within your office, you want to make sure you know like where your AED is, first aid kit, any oxygen. You want to make sure that all is, and usually it should be in a close location all together. So it's easily accessible for all the dental assistants and anybody that may need it. But you really want to make sure you know where that stuff is, because like I said, your doctor might want oxygen for a patient, or a cold compress, or you might want the first aid kit. You never know. So you really want to make sure you know where all that stuff is. So those are honestly the most common ones that I've experienced quite a bit, and I'm sure if you're a dental assistant working in the dental field that you've come across. The important thing is you really just want to stay calm and get the things that the doctor may need. Make sure you're talking to the patient, keeping them calm. You don't want to become frantic and start running around and things like that. You just really want to be calm, talk to the patient, make sure they're expressing exactly what's going on. Just try to offer your help. If the situation escalates and somebody is throwing up, or they're experiencing like heart or chest pains or anything like that, that's when you definitely want to be calling 911, getting your AED, making sure your dentist is there. But again, these are just like tiny little medical emergencies, not crazy big ones. But yeah, these are more of the common ones that do happen, especially the low blood sugar one, or people not eating before dental appointments. Basically, the most important thing is you just want to stay calm. You want to help the patient through it. You want to make sure they're taking deep breaths, in and out. Just work with them. Get them something to eat if they need it. Get them something to drink. Make sure they're sitting up if they're feeling nauseous, leaning back if they're feeling lightheaded. You can get a paper towel and get it wet and put it on their forehead, a towel, a cold compress, whatever you have, and just making sure your doctor is aware of the situation. Falling is also something else that can happen. We had an elderly patient that actually fell. It happened quite a few months ago, but his wife was helping him into the building, and he has a walker, but he has one that he can sit on. And she was kind of pushing him on the walker, and he ended up falling over, and she ran inside and asked if we could help him because he had actually cut open his head on the pavement. So in these type of situations, you definitely want to make sure you're wearing your PPE, your gloves, your jacket. You don't want to get blood on you, but you do want to come out and help the gentleman, of course. So I just put my gloves on real quick, ran out there, helped him back into his chair. There's quite a few of us helping him. And then we, put a Band-Aid on his head, make sure that the bleeding was stopped. I got him an ice pack. His wife actually did not want to take him to the hospital. She didn't think it was that big of a deal, but we encouraged her that she should because he could have a concussion. And we helped him into the car, and then they ended up going to the hospital. But yeah, little things like that can happen. People falling, people tripping. You just want to make sure that you're prepared for it and you stay calm in that situation. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. And if anything like this ever does happen in your office, just, don't freak out, stay calm. If you're not quite sure what to do, ask other staff or someone else to help you. And definitely let your dentist know. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.